Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm JohnBerry555, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the third and fourth episodes of Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. That's Chapter 3, Whispers in the Unknown, and Chapter 4, Pride and Vengeance. So there will be spoilers in this episode if you don't want to get spoiled. I released a spoiler-free review for both the chapters earlier today. They will be linked in the description and in the cards. But let's actually talk about the episodes. Obviously, we're going to begin with Chapter 3, Whispers in the Unknown. So, in this episode, well, a big part of it is Maul is whispering in Devon's ear, trying to get her to become his apprentice. We've established that in previous episodes is his goal. That's his continuing goal. Along with, of course, getting vengeance on all who wronged him, which is a very thing that Maul is very adamant on getting done. And that actually does seem Maul and Devon duo. And Maul, he's toying with Devon and all this. He could so easily defeat her, and he lets her escape. Because he knows that, given everything that he's done and the whispering, that he's pushing her just enough that, not enough to fully go over to his side yet, though he would have been happy if she had. He definitely gave that as an option. He definitely did that. Obviously, I don't think he was counting on it, even though makes it sound like to Devon he was. I think he knows that when Devon escapes and reunites with her master, that they will then inform the local authorities, so that way he can spring a trap on them. But that's in Chapter 4, so not even there yet. But if in my spoiler-free review, I talked about straining relationships. And yeah, relationships are strained. Namely between Lawson and Two Boots, because Two Boots, once you follow protocol, things with Maul is getting out of hand, and he wants to contact the Empire. And that puts a strain on their relationship. Lawson says no. Two Boots goes his head to the chief. She says no, and Two Boots is put on desk duty. Their relationship is being strained. And then also, too, in this episode, I think a big reason why the relationship being strained, because while Two Boots reminds Lawson to go to his son's sports game, which I think might be lacrosse. We don't see it played. I just think it's lacrosse, based off of the fact that it looks like he's holding a lacrosse. I forget stick. I don't know what those are called. Did lacrosse once in middle school because of gym class, and they have us do sports, and that was one of the sports they did. Who knows why? Anyhow on that. During that time, Two Boots goes to follow a lead they have, and he almost ends up getting blown up. And now he's basically much more insistent on contact, hence the straining. Even though it was Two Boots who remind Lawson to go to his son's game, even though he does bail. But that's also where Lawson is introduced to Jedi Master Daki. Finally actually meeting him. Daki just claims to be Devon's uncle, not revealing he's a Jedi yet. But they do both kind of, through those talking stuff, that neither of them are big fans of the Empire. And we actually do learn in this episode that Lawson's former wife now works for the Empire. So, sounds like part of the reason why their relationship fell apart was because she decided to work for the Empire, and he wasn't quite happy about that. So that's Chapter 3. Lots of setting up stuff for Chapter 4, but also that whispering in Devon's ear, because we know what Maul wants for Devon, to become his apprentice. And so he's gotten all that whispering. Lots of basically trying to appeal to, I would say, almost Devon's pride, if you will, and that will come into the next episode. But very much like, no, don't you want to do more to survive? Don't you want to live? I'm simplifying, of course, because I can't beat Maul. But the point I really do want to convey is that Maul is using very slick language. And that's what the Sith do. Maul may not be a Sith per se anymore, but he still thinks and speaks like a Sith. Think of how Palpatine talked with Anakin. It's the very same thing, like coding it in terminology that won't push the potential apprentice away yet. That's what's going on here. But let's actually talk about Chapter 4, Pride and Vengeance. And yeah, Maul has some pride, but he also is seeking vengeance. He uses Vario to get into Krim's stronghold, Obadiah, so one of the leading pikes, and, well, he kills Krim, kills a bunch of men, and makes the captain of the guard the new leader of the pike sitting get, on the condition that he stays loyal to Maul. And like I said after Devon escapes in last episode, in this episode, she does reunite with her master, and she convinces him that they should contact Lawson to confront Maul, knowing that they're not alone enough and that Maul can't be put in danger. But also, she gets some pride, but she also is wanting vengeance on Maul, whether she admits it or not. Maul did get to her in some fashion, but we can see not fully yet, because remember, she is not on Maul's side yet. She wants to take Maul out. And let's be real, who can take Maul out? The local police don't have the resources to take Maul out on their own, and they don't have the resources to take Maul out on their own. I forget if it was this episode or the last episode. I'm pretty sure the last episode, but it's made mention that the Empire is different than the Republic by Lawson, and when Two Boots in trying to convince him that back when Republic, if we need help, we contact the Republic, they send in Jedi, and then Lawson is like, but it's not the same. And that kind of comes to fruition this episode. The Jedi tip off Lawson and the police on where Maul is hiding. Granted, Maul knows that, and he lays a trap for them all. And yeah, they get confronted. A bunch of police go down, but one thing is confirmed. Lawson does confirm that Devon and Daki are Jedi. And, well, he does make sure that no one else sees. Not make sure, but he more tells them, hey, more people are coming. You can go away. I won't tell anyone. Basically, he's probably a Jedi sympathizer. I'm getting that vibe from this episode. But yeah, Maul swings the trap, but he does offer Lawson the option to basically, no, hey, don't confront me, and I'll protect you from the Empire. You don't like the Empire, I don't like the Empire. Which is also very similar language that Maul used with Devon. But Lawson does not go for it. One, because he probably sees Maul as like, just like the Empire. And two, I think he suspected Daki, I think, was a Jedi. Not known for sure, but I think he did suspect it. Because when they speak, basically he's saying like, why didn't you tell me? Not that you're a Jedi. More like, why didn't you trust me? That was kind of more the vibe I got from them. And so, yeah. So that happens. But the Empire does arrive at the end of the episode, because Two Boots does call them. After he's reactivated, after Lawson deactivates him to prevent him from contacting the Empire. Two Boots does forgive Lawson for deactivating and hopes he can do the same for Two Boots calling the Empire. Hard to say how that's going to work. But one thing, Two Boots, again, I don't like him calling the Empire, but he's probably one of my favorite characters because he is probably... Basically, I feel like Two Boots is like if R2 could speak and then they run their mouth. Actually, I don't know if R2 would run their mouth. Chopper would if he could speak. But the point is, he's so human. Like, the fact that his increasing insistence at calling the Empire after him nearly getting blown up in Chapter 3 is an emotional response. Not a logical response. Sure, he's framing it in the sense of logic and foreign protocol. He's a droid after all. But his insistence is very much rooted in emotion. Of all the police droids, he has the most emotion in his voice. He doesn't drink, but he will carry a coffee mug and hang out with the other people who are drinking coffee, well, calf in Star Wars, and say, I'm doing it to participate in the social conversation. Like, Two Boots is alive. He is human, for lack of a better term. Obviously, Star Wars, you got aliens, but he is sentient by all accounts. He has emotions. He displays them. Like, we see droids display emotions before in Star Wars, but not like Two Boots. The only exceptions I really think are, like, really like Two Boots, R2-D2 and Chopper, two astromechs. C-3PO has it to a certain extent, but not the same. And even in AP5 and Rebels, again, not quite the same, though definitely more than C-3PO. I'm just saying. But like Two Boots is, in terms of droids that can speak basic, I feel like one of our most emotional droids outside of L3 from Solo. And I think that makes him a very unique character. Again, I don't like him calling him the Empire, but I understand why. He's over his head. They're dealing with a renegade Sith Lord. The Jedi are no longer around, so yeah, I understand wanting to cause some additional support. The problem is who that additional support is. The Empire. I do wonder How would Chubut have responded if Lawson told him he thinks that there might be Jedi on Janix to help them deal with Maul? I do wonder, because Chubut cited the Jedi in terms of how they handled things in the past that were over their heads. Would hearing that there might have been some Jedi around, would that have eased his nose and make him less resistant? Perhaps. Perhaps not. But he is behaving emotionally, not logically. Like, yeah, he may intellectually know that the Empire coming is going to be overall bad, but he's like, but we're over our head, and protocol says this, and I need got blown up. We have to do it. So yeah, that's why he's a great character, and my favorite, despite me not liking his decision. But there's other things going on this episode. Daki gets injured by Maul, though, but he does damage one of Maul's cybernetic legs as well. But what I think that is that's going to force Devon and Daki to separate, which means Devon is going to end up drifting closer to Maul as in the remaining episodes. I think it's going to happen. I have the list of episode titles because they've already been released, and Chapter 9, Strange Allies. There's going to be some interesting allies, I think, made. And I wouldn't be surprised Maul, Devon, and Lawson are all somehow together in that. But of course, that's just a hunch. And in all honesty, even whether Daki survives or not, again, he could be there. But the thing is, I do think at some point near the end, a lot of our characters will, despite them not always cooperating and all that, may find themselves allying together against the Empire. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way to go. You know, Daki may not survive, but the idea of the Devon, Lawson making tough choices and siding with Maul in order to survive, in order to avoid the Empire, I could see those tough choices being made. This is not going to be a happy ending show, I think. I doubt that. I'm getting to speculation point at this point, obviously, but things are building and it's not going to be happy. We're dealing with a villain protagonist still and some actual protagonists. So it's going to be very interesting how things develop and how the arrival of the Empire is going to change, how the characters that we've already been following will be interacting with one another, and what options, what choices they're going to be making in pursuing their own ends, pursuing their own modes and supporting them. It's going to be very interesting, and I really can't wait to see how that develops. But all I know is we're going to be seeing some Inquisitors, because Chapter 5 Inquisition is going to be coming out next week, so I hope to see you then for my review of it. And also Chapter 6, Night of the Hunted as well, which is I think going to build off of Inquisition based off of the title. But enough speculation from me. Put your thoughts on this episode, your thoughts on the speculation in the comment section down below, and we'll continue the discussion, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.